all about the music. So I'll catch you later. Say bye to Tim Tam. Tim Tam. Say bye. Bye, Tim Tam. Bye.
Hey, Chief. Welcome to a Thursday Collection Connection. We're on our 13th take because I keep falling over my tongue and running into verbal brick walls. But I hope to get around to playing that game. It's just an excuse to talk about records. I play the game with my brother, Plastic Eric, from the Plastic Soundwave Cult. He makes his moves every Monday. I'm every Thursday. And you can follow along with us by subscribing to both channels. So in Eric's last video, he had Guns N' Roses, the Spaghetti Incident. I have Appetite for Destruction, like a lot of people, but I'm not a huge Guns N' Roses person. And a cover album like the Spaghetti Incident comes from a position of disadvantage for me. I approach those things with a lot of suspicion, even from artists that I really like, because it feels a little creatively bankrupt. I love a good cover, but the covers album always seems to consist of more covers than they necessarily, like they had to think of some songs to cover while they were doing this. And it's less inspiration and more, we got to do this thing. And that's about how the Spaghetti Incident rang to me. You know, there were a few songs that it felt like they ripped out a good version of, but a lot of times it felt a little like goofing off, and they were just kind of having some fun and not taking it too serious, which can be good in keeping things loose, but it also felt just sort of underdone, underfinished to me. But it is a covers album, and that made me think of the fact that there are a couple of songs covered by, that they are from bands that we have previously talked about on the Collection Connection. There was apparently a, I want to call them Snapdragon. They're not called Snapdragon at all. They're called Soundgarden. Soundgarden, apparently, like a Soundgarden cover of another song that they added to, because I forget who the original artist was, but apparently they did a cover of the Soundgarden version, and I'm blathering about that. But they also did Nazareth, which Eric has presented a while back. And I couldn't find an album that had covers of two bands, which was my goal, that we had previously presented. But I settled in after a day and a half of not figuring out what to connect it to, with an album that features a cover of one artist that we have previously talked about in the series. And the original artist was Kate Bush, who I presented way back in the early compendium episodes where we would do 5 or 6 connections in a single half-hour video. And the song is Hounds of Love, and the band doing the covering and being the featured album today is the 2004 debut of the Futureheads. Now, the Futureheads are not that far from Franz Ferdinand, same time period, only about 12 CDs apart on the shelf back there, and very similar in sound and inspiration, that kind of that first post-punk herky-jerky era. This album, the Futureheads debut, recalls a lot the XTC Drums and Wires era and Gang of Four. And I think I read that Gang of Four's one of the members of Gang of Four, Andy Gill, hope I'm getting this right because I don't want to have to put in corrections. I hate to make a collection connection correction. Produced the album. And it's quite good. It was definitely the cover of Hounds of Love that brought me in. It's one of my very favorite covers of all time. It's got a lot of really restless energy to it. It's a great cover. But the album is good and interesting too, and rocks, I would argue, harder than the Spaghetti Incident does. It's definitely got that 1979, first forays into post-punk. So it's very punky and angular and spiky, which is the reason I chose the thumbnail that I did. But the Futureheads make it interesting. They're a UK band. They keep it interesting by using their vocals in their approach. It's almost like an a cappella approach in a lot of the songs. So the vocals are coming from a lot of directions and layering into kind of rhythms and sounds themselves. And that kind of really differentiates the sound from just straight post-punk inspired pop music. And I have done so many takes of this that I forget what I've said so far and what I haven't said in this take. So let's say that's good. Let's say that's enough. I don't have any other Futureheads. I only have this one album, but listening to it in the last couple of days made me think, God, I should check out some more of them. They just fell in that same period. A lot of the things that I said about Franz Ferdinand a few weeks ago would apply to Futureheads as well. Just the era that it came out and the means by which I ingested the music kind of kept me from following up on them. But I will throw the first Futureheads album. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, Eric. And we will look for your connection come Monday. Gosh, I'm tired. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.